Good evening. We'll call to order the City Commission meeting for November 21st. It is the 21st, yeah. Anyway, yes, on our agenda we have, first thing is the the invocation. And we didn't know whether we have anybody from Ministerial Alliance for that tonight. Not, Chase, what do you?
Yeah, if y'all pray with me. Lord Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this time that we can come together to make decisions that hopefully best influence our city and our community members. We pray your blessings on these young people that are here tonight to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And we also pray your blessings on these employees that are here tonight as we celebrate and recognize them and thank them for their service to our community. We continue to pray for our country and for the men and women fighting to protect it. And we just lift this all up in your Son, Jesus' holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance led today by Miss Wessel's third grade class from Skelly. You want to come up and lead us? If you would tell us your name and what you like about El Dorado. Back up to the desk if you could, so everybody can see better. There you go. Perfect. Here you go.
Tell them we don't count.
Yeah, look out there.
My name is Adrian, and I like El Dorado because they're food.
Okay.
My name is Elizabeth, and I like the El Dorado River. My name is Aiden, and I like Kansas because it.
Okay. All right. You like what is it? Or you can pass it on if you don't want to say.
The El Dorado Lake.
The lake.
There you go.
My name is Tiffany, and I like the El Dorado Parks.
My name is Jace, and I like the El Dorado YMCA.
My name is Thomas, and I like the football stadium. My name is Lennon. I like the houses they've built.
My name is Bailey, and I like the El Dorado Lake.
You don't have to. Great. Do you want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Here we go. Ready to start? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job, guys. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Wonderful. Thank you, Miss Wessel's third grade class from Skelly. Next on our agenda would be service awards. We have a host of service awards to say thanks for their employees that have spent years with us. I believe we have department heads going to deliver and announce that. And in the meantime, as a commission, why don't we go down in front, and that way we can shake hands with everybody who has gotten an award.
Our first person to be honored this evening from the fire department is Derek Boggs. Derek has 10 years of service with the city of El Dorado. Derek is a master firefighter with the fire department. He's also an advanced emergency medical technician. And Derek was unable to make it to the meeting this evening. He sends along his thanks. We appreciate everything Derek does in his years of service. Our next person to be recognized from the fire department is Kobe Spear. Kobe, if you could come forward. Kobe has 10 years of service with the city of El Dorado. He is a fire lieutenant. He is an advanced emergency medical technician. He's also very skilled and involved with technical rescue for the department and for departments around the county. We appreciate everything you do and your years of service, Kobe.
Thank you. We have two getting a 10-year award from the El Dorado Police Department. First is Lieutenant Detective Maggie Schreiber. Would you please come up? Maggie was born and raised in Phillipsburg, Kansas, and graduated from Phillipsburg High School in 2002. After high school, Maggie attended Bethany College in Lindsborg, Kansas. Maggie earned her bachelor's degree in December 2005 with a major in history and political science and a minor in criminal justice. Maggie began her career with the El Dorado Police Department on January 17, 2006 as a patrol officer. She was transferred to the Criminal Investigation Division as a detective in February of 2008. In October 2014, Maggie was promoted to Detective Sergeant, and she has been supervising the Criminal Investigation Division as a lieutenant since January of 2015. Maggie married her husband CJ in October 2007. They have a 6-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son. Congratulations on your 10 years of service. Next one, Lieutenant Travis Pierce. Travis grew up in Clyde, Kansas, a town of 700 people. He graduated from Clifton Clyde High School in 2001. He graduated Cloud County Community College with an associate's degree in general education. He then graduated from Emporia State University in 2005 with a bachelor's degree in sociology. He was hired by the El Dorado Police Department January 19th of 2006, 2 days after Maggie. They interviewed on the same day. I remember that vividly. Worked his way through the ranks until reaching the patrol lieutenant position in February 2013. In 2007, Travis married his high school sweetheart, Carissa. The two have a 3-year-old son, Wiley. In his spare time, he enjoys playing guitar for his classic rock cover band, riding a motorcycle, and tinkering on vehicles. I'd like to congratulate you on 10 years of service, Travis.
Forgot something, Travis.
They're all like shaming it.
Randy, come on up. Come on up, Randy. We actually have both of our meter readers receiving their 10-year service awards tonight. Barry Brown was not able to attend. He's ill today. But Randy is here. Randy started for us September 5th of 2006. And to say that Randy's very good at his job is a real understatement. Randy, you might see him sprinting from meter to meter, and after reading meters all day and probably traveling about 10 miles a day, you'll see him at the YMCA on the treadmill working out. And so I wish I had his dedication to fitness. So Randy is the other thing that we all know and love about Randy. I don't know if love's a good word. He's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and so we love giving him a hard time about his Pittsburgh Steelers, especially in the years that they're not doing well. So
this is one of them.
But Randy does a tremendous job for the city, and we're very lucky to have him. So thank you, Randy.
You see that. Okay, moving on to 15-year awards. Brett? So Brett came to work for the city May 3rd, 2001 as a superintendent of water and wastewater treatment. Brett holds a Class 4 water and wastewater certification as well as cross-connection prevention certification. His meticulous nature is a natural complement to working in an industry where we all sweat the details when it comes to public health, compliance, and federal regulations. Recently, the Kansas American Water Works Association president, Lester Estelle, was here in El Dorado to present an award, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute. But one of the things that he said when he was touring our plant, and keep in mind, our facility, our water treatment plant was built in 1935, and so it's over 80 years old. And one of his comments was, it looks like it could have been built 10 years ago. And the other thing that he noticed is that the cleanliness of the plant. And he said, I started as a water treatment operator, so I know how difficult it is to maintain a facility and keep it clean. It's not easy. But Brett does a tremendous job, and his staff, in doing so. Brett's accumulated a long list of accomplishments over the last 15 years, but most notably, recent accomplishment that he shared with his 4 water treatment operators at the plant is receiving, for the second time, the Best Tasting Water in Kansas Award. And so we're very, very proud of that, and we all know we have great water here, but it's nice to be recognized. And we'll be taking a sample to the national competition in Philadelphia next summer. So we'll see if we can win that. Thank you, Brett.
Good job.
I'm going to have Josh and Eric come up here at the same time. Tonight we're recognizing Eric Tharp and Josh Potter for 15 years of service with the city of El Dorado. And I bring these guys up together because they work closely together every day. They make a good team. A lot of the amenities you see in El Dorado, the new roads, the stuff buried underground is because of these two guys. And truly appreciate your service. Eric's married to his wife Louise with daughters Emily and Ellie. And Josh is married to Sarah and his son Ari. So thank you guys.
Must be like the bearded
Guys,
department.
turn your
The bearded department.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Don't shave November. Man, you're one of them. Congratulations.
I think you have to stop here and let Julie take your picture.
Right here.
Yes. That's done. Scott left them there. Mayor. Mayor. It's Scott right here.
It's my privilege to offer the 15-year service award to Scott Rickard. I've got a little bit to read here. Scott began working for the city of El Dorado as an engineering intern while in college at Pitt State, right? He started working for the city full-time in December of 2001 as an engineering aide. In 2007, he was promoted to assistant city engineer. And he's held that title until last month when he was named acting city manager. Scott is married to Stacy, who works for USD 490. He has 2 sons, Cole, age 10, and Case, age 2, and pending, right? Scott and his family, did I just let something out of the bag? Okay. Scott and his family spend a lot of time volunteering for the city, we know that, including coaching football and baseball for Recreation Department, volunteering for his church and various other agencies, including the YMCA and the United Way. And it's also my privilege to offer this service award, and thank you for everything you're doing for the city.
Our last person to be honored from the fire department is Joe Haig. Joe has 20 years of service with the city of El Dorado. He is the fire marshal and he is also an emergency medical technician. Joe serves as a second in command for the fire department. He is also responsible for all fire codes. Joe is out of state on vacation. His young son is graduating from, or did graduate from basic training back east. So he couldn't be here this evening. He sends along his thanks. We appreciate everything Joe does in his years of service.
Police Department has one 25-year award to give out. Lieutenant Dan Jones, would you come up, please? Dan was born here in El Dorado. His family is from this area. While growing up, Dan lived in several different states. He graduated from Seminole High School in Sanford, Florida. After graduating, he moved back to this area and attended Butler Community College. In February of 1991, Dan started his career with the El Dorado Police Department, or the El Dorado Department of Public Safety. At that time, all the officers were trained in law enforcement and firefighting. In 1995, the department was split into the police department and fire department. Dan became an officer for the El Dorado Police Department at that time. On March 18, 2000, Dan was promoted to Master Patrol Officer. On January 1, 2004, Dan was promoted to Sergeant, and in March of 2009, Dan was promoted to his current rank of Patrol Lieutenant. Dan has been married to his lovely wife, Julie, since April of '93, and they have 3 sons, Darren, Andrew, AJ, and Isaac. In his spare time, Dan enjoys spending time with his family. I'd like to congratulate Dan on 25 years of service.
The Public Utilities Department has one 25-year awardee, and it's Ron McClure. Ron has a family member with a serious illness. They're at a hospital in Kansas City with that family member, so he regretfully couldn't be here. But I'd like to read to you something about Ron. Ron began his career with the city December of 1991. He was promoted to Chief Operator in August of 2014. Ron is a Class 4 wastewater treatment operator, in addition to a Class 4 lab analyst, and also a member of the Kansas Water Environment Association Lab Committee. Ron is responsible for running our NELAP accredited wastewater lab, so it's a nationally accredited wastewater lab. He was a recipient from the Kansas Water Environment Association of the Crystal Crucible Award in 2015 for his continued education efforts. The city was also awarded the Platinum Peak Performance Award by NACWA for the excellent effluent quality and the laboratory performance of the facility. Ron has taken on additional testing responsibility outside day-to-day operations to help with our stormwater permit testing. And outside of work, Ron enjoys woodworking projects, spending time with his 5 grandchildren, and he also serves on the Rural Water District Board for District Number 1. And so we thank Ron for his service.
It's my pleasure this evening to recognize John Scanlon for his 30 years of service to the city of El Dorado. John couldn't be here tonight due to a family commitment. But John began his career here in September of 1986 as an equipment operator in the cemetery division. He was promoted to cemetery sexton in 1990 and promoted to Cemetery and Park Superintendent in 1992. In the year 2000, he was named Assistant Parks and Recreation Director and named Director of Parks and Recreation in 2004. The last 6 years, John has served the city well as the person in charge of the Parks Department, as the superintendent. He's the one responsible for the spray parks and the swimming pools, and does a fantastic job. John's been married to Renee for over 20 years, have 2 kids, Connor and Sydney. In his spare time, which we don't give him a lot of, he likes to jet ski.
Mayor, Commission, staff, and guests, I've got the honor tonight to present 5 life-saving medals to police officers that on 3 different incidents. The first one is Sergeant Sidney Scribner. Would you please come up? On February 23rd, 2016, at 1300 hours, Butler County Communications advised El Dorado Police that fire and EMS were en route to the trading station for an unconscious person. Officer Cindy Scribner responded to the trading station and discovered a male subject had unexpectedly passed out from a standing position and was unconscious. Officer Scribner assessed the patient and began to administer CPR until paramedics arrived. El Dorado Fire arrived at 1306 hours and triaged the patient as code red. Medic 10 arrived and provided advanced life support in the form of auto pulse mechanical CPR. Once stabilized, the patient was transported code blue to Susan B. Allen Memorial Hospital. On July 28, 2016, while attending first aid and CPR recertification training, paramedic Adam Lumen referred to this incident in training and stated he'd never seen anyone perform CPR in such a proper manner. Paramedic Lumen advised Officer Scribner's efforts ultimately led to a successful life-saving event. Officer Scribner's quick assessment allowed her to start CPR, which was administered in a way that provided vital treatment and prevented collateral injuries due to lack of oxygen. I am proud to present the El Dorado Police Department Life Saving Award to Officer Sidney Scribner. I'd like Officer Paul Sanders and Officer Emmett Lechner to come front, please. On April 23rd, 2016, at 23:05 hours, Officer Paul Sanders and Emmett Lechner were dispatched to a male subject who was unresponsive and possibly in cardiac arrest. The officers arrived on the scene and found a 26-year-old male patient on a bed in an upstairs bedroom. Officers assessed the patient and found he was not breathing and they could not find a pulse. The patient had lost color in his face and extremities. The officers acted on their training and removed the patient from the bed and began CPR and rescue breathing. After approximately 5 minutes, fire and EMS units arrived on the scene. Patient care was transferred to EMS and the patient was transferred to Susan B. Allen Memorial Hospital, where he was released the following day. There is no doubt the quick actions by Officers Paul Sanders and Emmett Lechner contributed to saving the patient's life. I'm proud to present the El Dorado Police Department Life Saving Award to Officer Paul Sanders and Officer Emmett Lechner.
Good job.
If Lieutenant Tim Baker and Officer Brent Moore would come up, please. On June 24th, 2016, Lieutenant Tim Baker and Officer Brent Moore were dispatched to an unresponsive overdose patient. Upon their arrival, they observed the patient lying on the living room floor. Lieutenant Baker assessed the patient and discovered she had a pulse but was not breathing. The patient's face was ashy pale and her lips were blue. At this point, rescue breathing was started by Lieutenant Baker and Officer Moore. Law enforcement continued rescue breathing until fire units arrived and patient care was transferred to them. Fire EMTs applied an oral airway and bagged the patient. When EMS arrived, they administered medication to the patient, and she started breathing and became alert. There's no doubt the quick response by Lieutenant Tim Baker and Officer Brent Moore, along with their training, contributed to the saving of the patient's life. And I'm proud to present the El Dorado Police Department Life Saving Award to Officer Brent Moore and Lieutenant Tim Baker. This is actually Tim Baker's second life-saving award in his career here, so good stuff. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you everyone, and for everybody's service, and a big thank you, and for everybody's life-saving awards are humbling. So great work, great work. Next on our agenda would be personal appearances. Tammy Schaefer. Talk to us about our favorite budget schedule, right?
My favorite topic. I'll do two presentations this evening. The first one's going to be on the budget process. Some of you have seen this one before, but it was highly recommended that I put it out on the web page, and so we did, and so I just thought I'll just do it again with just a few changes. There is a lot of work that goes into the budget process that the City Commission and the citizens of El Dorado do not see. Therefore, I put this together to educate the citizens and the City Commission on the budget process. The budget process starts in November and ends in August. We are just beginning our budget process. At the first commission meeting in November, the 2018 salary schedule was approved, and we reminded the City Commission to be thinking of names to appoint to the Sales Tax Committee. At the first City Commission meeting in December, the City Commission will appoint the members of the Sales Tax Committee. The budget includes the following steps: the Capital Improvement Plan, CIP, Equipment Replacement Plan, ERP, the Sales Tax Allocation, which is our excess sales tax, operating budgets, our outside agencies or partners, and our state budget. The Capital Improvement Plan, CIP, will start December 15, 2016, and will adopt it on May 15, 2017. What is done before the City Commission is involved? The department heads begin preparing their 6-year capital improvement plan. The department heads present their CIP requests to the city manager and the finance director. The proposed CIPs are distributed into the Planning Commission, and the department heads present their CIPs to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission secretary reviews the CIPs to ensure they follow the comprehensive plan. There are 3 opportunities for the citizens to be a part of the CIP process. They are the City Commission workshop on April 12th at 4 o'clock, the public administrative hearing with the city manager on April 15th or 25th at 5:15, and the City Commission meeting on May 15th at 6:30. All are published in the paper 10 days prior to the meeting. This is a snapshot of the calendar that we use for the CIP process. Highlighted in red is when the City Commission is first involved in the process. I share this so that the citizens can see that there are a lot of work done by the Planning Committee and staff before coming to the City Commission. The first step is the CIP funding sources. This includes an operating budget, excess sales tax committee, they allocate those dollars. You can have federal or state dollars. General obligation bonds can cover CIPs. Specials. Sales tax street rehabilitation, which is by our ordinance. We do state revolving loans. And then other sources such as USD 490, the county, Butler Community College, and citizen donations, etc. can be partial fundings. The equipment replacement plan, our ERP, will start on December 15 of 16. The ERP is a tool used by the department heads to determine what is needed to do their jobs efficiently over the next 5 years. This is also known as their equipment wish list. The department heads present the ERPs to the finance director and the city manager. After much discussion, the current year ERPs are entered into the budget with the option to be cut if necessary. Sales tax allocation is directed by the ordinance S 1323. The first $600,000 shall be allocated annually for street rehabilitation within the city of El Dorado. The next $1,350,000 from the tax shall be used annually for property tax reduction for the inhabitants of the city, and the next $50,000 shall be allocated for a fund for economic development and job creation. The balance left over is for excess sales tax. The purpose for the use of any excess sales tax collections are additional street rehabilitation, additional property tax reduction, and capital expenditures. The sales tax allocation starts in November of 2016 with the request the City Commission be thinking about who they would like to appoint to the Sales Tax Committee. Have we done that? In December, the City Commission will appoint the Sales Tax Committee members. Sales tax allocation. The committee will start January 13th, and the City Commission will either accept or decline the committee's recommendation on March 6th at the City Commission meeting. What is done before the City Commission is involved outside of appointing the members? The department heads present funding requests to the Sales Tax Committee, and the Sales Tax Committee holds public hearing to receive funding requests. There is 2 opportunities for the citizens to take part in the sales tax process. The Sales Tax Committee's public hearing on February 27th at 5:30 p.m. in the Commission Room, and the City Commission meeting on March 6th at 6:30 p.m. And this is a snapshot of the sales tax calendar that we use, and the highlighted pieces are when the City Commission is involved. The operating budget and partnerships. This starts on January 11th with the City Commission workshop called Budget Vision for the departments and the City Commission to express their budget visions, and is adopted, hopefully, the first meeting in August. What is done before the City Commission is involved? This is very condensed. Department heads and partnerships work on budgets beginning 1st of March. The department heads and the partnerships, that's hard to say, present budget requests to the city manager and the finance director on April 3rd, that week, the whole week. And then the finance director meets with the city manager to review the department heads' budgets on April 26th. And the department heads meet with the city manager and the finance director to cut budgets if necessary on April 28th. All budget workshops and meetings are open to the public. There are 5 opportunities for the city commission or for the public to be involved in this portion of the budget. On May 10th, we will do the first draft. On May 24th, the City Commission workshop, to discuss and ask questions about the budget. On June 28th, that is our second draft, and along with that, I have the state budget forms filled out for you. And on July 12th, the City Commission workshop to review the final budget. And final meeting on August 7th, the City Commission public hearing and adoption of the budget. Only the adoption of the budget is published 10 days prior to the meeting. And this is a very condensed schedule. It's hard to see. And you can see when the City Commission is involved for the first time. So how it all flows together. All the highlighted items in red is when the City Commission is involved in the budget process. So starting in November, the process begins with the City Commission thinking of whom they would like to appoint to the Sales Tax Committee. The City Commission approves salary schedule, and the Finance Director presents budget presentation. In December, the City Commission appoints Sales Tax Committee members, and the CIP and ERP process begins. In January, the City Commission workshop Budget Vision is held, and the CIPs and ERPs returned to the Finance Director and presented to the City Manager. In February, the Sales Tax Committee holds first meeting. The CIP is distributed to the Planning Commission, and the Sales Tax Committee holds second meeting. In March, the City Commission hears recommendations from the Sales Tax Committee, and the department heads begin the operating budget process. Department heads present CIP requests to the Planning Commission. Then in April, the department heads and partnerships present budget requests to the City Manager, and the City Commission workshop for the department heads to present CIP request. And finally in April, the mill levy is determined, and that's when we determine if we need to cut the budget. In May, this is when the City Commission gets busy. They have their first workshop on May 10th for the first draft. City Commission adoption of the CIPs. City Commission workshop for questions and discussion from first draft. In June, the second draft with the state budget forms and the opportunity for questions and discussion for the City Commission. In July, City Commission workshop to review final budget. Then in August, the City Commission adopts the budget. What's new for 2018 budget process? Nothing. Unless our new leader would like to make a few adjustments. After the 2016-2017 budget, the feedback from the commission was it was all good. And so I didn't make any changes for this next year. But as we go along this year and you guys have some requests or some ideas, let me know and we'll try to make it happen. So in closing, the education of the City Commission and the citizens of El Dorado is ongoing as each budget process is new. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy.
Any questions?
Very nice presentation.
Thank you.
One thing that's new coming up would be some of the state regulations associated with mill levy cap. Is that correct?
Yes.
So nothing is new in terms of our process, but as we look at, or if it turns out that a mill levy increase is necessary, we've got a voting process to go through, or we're finding other ways to cut the budget to stay where we're at. I think that's important to say. Now, as we get ready for the upcoming budget, is we do have a legislative cap associated with our mill levy. Not necessarily the budget, but the mill levy.
Right.
And it's going to be juggling a little bit too, waiting on valuations to come in and seeing what that increase may cause.
Right.
Because there's levels associated with that. There's different budget line items that we're going to have to look at a little differently for fire and police and safety, because those aren't necessarily affected by the statute.
Right.
So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, we do have some changes to consider as we're going through the process. I don't think changes much other than some of the outside influences on that process.
Yeah, and timeline doesn't really change either. We're still restricted to August 25th,
Right.
my red date.
Even though we don't, your birthday, is that what you said?
My red date.
Red date. So, thank you for that.
You're welcome. Now, my next presentation, I get to do 2 tonight, is on my department, the finance department. The positions in the finance department consist of 3 full-time cashiers, a utility billing clerk, a senior accountant, an assistant finance director, and a finance director. I will mention a few things about each position, but please note this is not all that they do. This is just the highlights. Our cashiers, they report to the assistant finance director. And when you call 321-9100, most likely you will get one of them. Their main job function is customer service. They handle everything from taking your utility payment to looking up a phone number for you, because people have our number memorized, so they call us for another number. They process our utility payments, and there are several ways you can pay your payment. You can pay online at www.eldoks.com and click on this little icon, and that will take you to where you need to go. You can do it as a bank draft. That's my favorite. You could use your credit card, and we'll do a credit card draft. Or you can utilize the drop box, which is located on the east side of City Hall, and there are envelopes available to put your deposit or your payment in. Or you can come inside and turn right, and at the front counter, pay your bill as well.
Can you still mail it in?
You can still mail it in. That wasn't an option. I didn't even think about that.
You'd probably mail yours in.
But remember, we no longer have a P.O. box, so it's our address, physical address
That's
only.
true.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Our utility billing clerk. She reports to the assistant finance director. She bills on the 5th and 20th of each month. The 5th billing is due on the 20th, and your 20th bill is due on the 5th. And after that, it will get a penalty added to it. We added the 3rd cycle billing this year. This is for our customers that use raw water and our rural water districts. We changed our process from an Excel spreadsheet, which was subject to human error, to using our billing system. The 3rd cycle billing is billed on the 1st working day of each month. These are our large customers, so this was a huge project to obtain. Collections were brought in-house. I tease the cashiers and the utility billing clerks, they're like hound dogs. You cannot get by with not paying your bill. They will track you down. And the utility billing clerk is the backup to our cashiers. The senior accountant, she reports to the finance director. She deals with our accounts payable. So your appropriation report each month is all that she pays out. She does vendor maintenance, maintains our vendors. She does the 1099s at year end. She does journal entries monthly to make sure everything's recorded properly. She does the reconciliation of reimbursement accounts. And she is the backup to the cashiers and the utility billing clerk. She pretty much sits back in her corner office and shuffles papers. The assistant finance director. She oversees the cashiers and the utility billing clerk. She reconciles an approximate $10 million bank account, maintains our fixed assets, assist with the annual audit. She is the creator of the beautiful book I think you guys got tonight, for which the city has received the GFOA Distinguished Budget Award since 2013. She is back up to all positions. She's kind of my right-hand gal. And then there's me, the finance director. I'm responsible for the annual audit. We make sure the city meets the standards established by the Government Finance Officers Association for the award program for financial reporting and the budget award program as we prepare for the annual audit. We compile the capital improvement plan and the equipment replacement plan. The capital improvement plan is a 6-year plan and the equipment replacement plan is a 5-year plan. This allows the department heads to plan their budgets as well as plan out their projects and their equipment. We developed the operating budget, and after much discussion, the operating budget is entered into the state budget forms to be adopted. The Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, the CAFR we call it, for which we have received the Government Finance Officers Association Award since 1977, could not be accomplished without the efficient and dedicated services of staff, El Dorado Inc., local businesses, and Butler County staff. So I want to give a big, huge thank you to all of those who participate in this book. And last but not least, I'm responsible for the excess sales tax. So in closing, we do a little bit of adding, we do some subtracting, we adjust some things, but at the end of the day, we balance. And that pretty much sums it up. Any questions?
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you. Well, we'll have an interesting budget session going forward, don't we?
Yeah. We'll have your budget vision meeting here pretty soon. You got your calendars this evening as well?
Got 'em in
All
here.
right. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on, public comment. Anybody from the audience wish to address the commission for comment to the commission? Seeing none, we'll move on to consent agenda. Everybody has had a chance to have their packet and look at it, the minutes from previous meeting. Any questions or comments on the agenda, or on the consent agenda and minutes? If there are none, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the consent agenda as presented be approved. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next item on our agenda would be the application for special use permit to allow urban loft apartments at 123 East Pine Avenue, case number 16005 SUP.
Good evening, Commissioners. This application is for urban loft apartments, and basically that means residential units that are specifically in your core downtown area and are also typically mixed use, which means they could be on the same property as commercial uses or can be in the same building as an office or other commercial use. And in this particular case, the property is zone C1, which means it's primarily used for commercial. There's an existing building on there, a 2-story building that the owner, Mr. Burke, looks to remodel to create at the moment. I know the numbers have shifted a little bit, looking at 2 residential dwelling units. And the Planning Commission reviewed this at October 17th meeting, unanimously recommends approval. So I'm here for any questions you may have. Scott is too, and Mr. Burke, the property owner, is also available for any questions.
This is the property right on the corner. It's a 2-story building.
Yes, and it's got the large parking lot behind it.
Is this limited to just the building, or does it go on to the parking lot as well? Is it one piece of property?
Yes, it covers the property, but all the work they're going to be doing is inside the building. So we're not anticipating any new buildings, just remodeling.
Okay, and it's just C1, just the corner.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the one we did a special use permit to turn it to a car lot at one time, right? They were gonna sell cars on this lot.
There was a portion of it, correct? Yes, Commissioner.
It was around 2014. I looked over some of those minutes. It was rezoned from C2, which would have allowed it, like a lot of the surrounding properties, to potentially do car sales. I know that they didn't do that, and part of the reason they're asking for a special use permit rather than rezoning to C2, which would go ahead and allow both residential and commercial, is they want to leave that option open to either have an office in this building in the future or potentially return to that automobile sales.
Okay.
I didn't have any questions. It looks like a great project to me, and the planning commission was on board. I read those minutes, so that was good enough for me.
Okay.
What's the ordinance number gonna be?
G 1229.
Okay, any further questions or comments? I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to accept recommendations of the planning commission to approve case number 16-005 SUP requesting a special use permit to allow an urban loft apartments in a C1 general business district, that ordinance number G 1229 be approved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Locke,
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis,
Yes.
Commissioner Badway,
Sure.
Commissioner Wilkinson,
Yes.
Mayor Hayes.
Yes. Okay. Next item on our agenda would be the final plat of Patton Edition.
All right, this plat creates 7 new lots. Part of this area was previously platted and some of it wasn't. It combined a few lots, created some new lots. And so the Planning Commission reviewed this on October 17th and deemed that this met the zoning regulations and the subdivision regulations, and they voted to approve it. Their duty is to make sure it meets all our ordinances and approve it. Then it comes to the City Commission next to accept the right-of-way dedications and the easement dedications. And so we are recommending that you accept those. Scott and I worked on this plat, so we're happy to answer any questions. Roger Cutt Sr. worked on this plat for Savoy Company and is also available for any questions.
I think it's a good project.
Yeah, this will put some order. You've seen a lot of redevelopment there on that area, and this put some order to it, and it keeps him moving along to reinvest in that property.
It's all currently zoned I-1 for light industrial. We're not anticipating any changes on that front. I think all the future development will stick within that.
It's really come together really nice.
Glad to see him making that investment. I guess the only comment I would have is, it's a good thing, but we're gonna have a street project coming if these lots keep selling, right?
If they do, there is a access easement that you're gonna see going up right in the middle of this plat, and that is gonna be maintained by the adjacent property owners, not actually city right of way. But yeah, if lot 1 of block 1 sells, you would see the extension of El Rico Court to serve that.
16-foot ingress and egress and utility and drainage easement. That's that access easement you're talking about. Looks like it goes into a roundabout, or not a roundabout, a cul-de-sac kind of thing, or turnaround.
Back there is actually, that is a radius
well.
for an oil well.
Gotcha. So they intend to develop this using this internal access until such time that the street becomes necessary.
Yeah, and we really foresee lots 2, 3, and 4 being served off that ingress and egress point.
Okay. Any other questions?
There isn't. You guys just moved to accept the easements and the right-of-ways.
You ready?
Yeah, entertain a motion.
I move to accept the easements and right-of-way dedications shown on the final plat of the Patton Edition, case number 16-02-plat.
I'll second it.
been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? This is not a roll call vote, right? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Item number 5, Prairie Trails golf rates. Is there someone to speak to that?
Jason Reiswig and Tim Young are coming up. This is something we discussed in our last work session that your advisory board of Prairie Trails has been working last year on and discussing the potential rate increases. We're just here this evening if you have any questions. Jason and Tim are available and so on.
Anything else you'd like to share? Any change from Wednesday when we last spoke?
No, there's no change from Wednesday. I think everything's in line.
Okay. Any questions from the commission?
Dude, are most of some of this information made its way to the golfers? Yeah.
No, it hasn't made its way to the golfers. It should have been through the advisory board.
Okay. I didn't know if we wanted to share some of the changes. Would that be appropriate?
If you want us to, we
I
can.
mean, maybe just if some of the big changes, so folks know.
So basically, the biggest change is a $200 increase across the board for everybody. That's the main increase. The other item is that we determined over the course of time to move to all 7-day passes and eliminate the 5 days. Tim did some looking at that and just it just seemed better to call people a member instead of having to diverse whether or not they were a 7-day pass holder or a 5-day pass holder. So make it a little easier on staff there. And then you see on there to go ahead, since the greens project's been completed and the 18 holes of golf is back open now, to increase the daily fee rates. Basically $4 from 26 to 30. So those are kind of the three major points.
Sounds good to me.
So.
And it's been 6 years since our last rate increase?
Yes, that's correct.
So you all have been working and a lot of capital improvement projects have taken place out of Prairie Trails, so I feel it's the time to make the move.
Thank you for all your work, getting all of those projects kind of wrapped up and getting everything to this point, so.
Yeah, thank you
I
guys.
appreciate that. I know we looked at this last year and decided to not do anything in light of the golf course going through its changes.
Yeah.
And,
Question, Jason.
Yes.
You said a $200 across the board. Is that on the 2016 rates?
Yes. The 2016 7-day passes will increase $200. Does that make sense? So in other words, instead of I don't know what sheet you're looking at, but if a family 7-day pass was $1,700 and it's going to go to $1,900.
The senior last year was $1,600 and then we're moving to $1,800.
You're on your spreadsheet there in the middle where it says 2017 passes. It shows that the family 7-day will be $1,900 and up above on the 16
Okay,
rates.
I now see where the 200 comes from. I was looking.
Oh, I got you. I understand.
You're okay.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You glad you're okay?
I'm glad. I'm very glad.
Okay. Also point out that, and I appreciate the 13 and under play free. I think that's a great,
Yeah.
great thing. And are we still offering play for the golf teams that use that course?
Yes.
Is that
Absolutely.
still the case? Are they playing for free also, or is there a special rate for them?
No, if they're a part of a golf team, whether it's El Dorado or Circle,
Okay.
they get to play through the summer months for free. So try to attract some of those younger
Yeah.
players.
No, I think that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready. So I entertain a motion.
I move to accept the golf course rate increase as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you for your work, John.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Thank you.
Oh, look who decided to show up.
How's it going there, Grizz?
Okay, next on our agenda would be baseball and softball team formation proposal from the Parks and Rec. Kevin, are you talk to us a little bit about that?
Evening, Mayor, Commissioners. As we visited last week, staff has been working diligently trying to figure out how we improve our baseball and softball program in El Dorado. Brief history, as you know, for years everyone played here in El Dorado. Teams were divided up and everyone played. About 6 years ago, we became members of the Wichita Heights Junior Baseball Softball League. At that time, we allowed teams to form themselves, and we continued to operate a recreation league here in town. That was done by a protected player and a draw process. Our baseball softball numbers are changing. We have far more interest in Heights League teams than we do rec league teams, and this is for ages 10 and up, not our T-ball or machine pitch programs, but first year of player pitch. And as a result of the teams being formed, we have several kids that aren't known, not as visible in the community, and so they're, in essence, being left out. And so our direction in the past, and I'm assuming from this commission, is that we provide an opportunity for all kids to participate. So we're trying to figure out a method that will allow that to happen as we go forward in the Heights League. We just don't have the numbers to support a rec league and a Heights League for 10, 12, and 14 baseball and softball. So we've developed this. We know it's not going to please everyone, but it's the best way that we've been able to come up with to make sure that every child that wants to play has the opportunity to play. We're not trying to impede upon teams being tournament teams or anything of that nature. We're just looking for an opportunity for every kid to have an opportunity to play baseball and softball. As you've heard me say many times in the past, we struggle to find coaches. Rec staff has been coaching, I can't even tell you how many teams we coach every season. City staff steps up and coaches teams where they don't have kids involved. We're hoping that by going this direction, we'll be able to find some more coaches and we'll be able to make sure kids have the best opportunity that they can have and have a good experience. So this has been to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board on more than one occasion. What you have in front of you, they have unanimously approved at their last meeting. So it's before you tonight to give us some direction whether you want us to proceed.
I've seen this done with the American Legion teams, where they had all the good kids on one team and all the substandard kids were put on the second team, and they competed against each other, and then they all made fun of each other for being on a not so good team compared to the good team, because all the good players got put on against good teams. And I don't know if they'll be able to fix that or not with this.
I don't know if this is going to be the solution, but it's something that we believe is worth trying. We may be coming back to you this time next year with another discussion. I do know that this is not going to be well received by some. Hopefully more will understand the reasoning behind it and why we are where we are and what we're charged to do as a city recreation department.
Well, I just want to say, thank you, because I know you guys gave at least 2 or 3 opportunities for folks to come out and hear more about this and to give some input, and some took advantage of that. But if this is effort and trying to find the best solution to give every kid equal opportunity, I think that's only fair, and I support it, obviously.
What happened to the Legion? We don't even have a Legion team anymore.
No, we don't have a Legion team currently. Each year we hear that there may be one, but again, they kind of struggle with what we struggle with, finding someone willing to dedicate the time and the energy to putting that program together. So, again, we know this isn't going to please everyone, but we're hoping that everyone will understand why we're here and why we're in the position that we're in.
Well, I want to express the same concern that I expressed at Parks and Rec and at the work session. There are kids whose parents are not going to be able to travel. So the important thing is that the other parents on the team or the coaches make sure that a child whose parents can't travel will get to the games. And that goes back to what you said at work session about taking a village to raise a child. And if we want a good recreation department and we want kids involved, it's got to be everybody that does it, not just a set of parents. And I think the more involvement we have, this will work. And I'm hoping you get through that rough year the first time. But the more kids we can get participate, and again, you pointed out it's from 10 years and up.
Correct.
Don't want people to think that it's from the very beginning it's going to be that way. But as far as coaches go, again, parents, if you want your kid to participate, then you're going to have to give it a little bit of your time to make sure that child gets to do what they want to do.
And to make it as good an experience as it can be.
Exactly.
Staff's happy to coach teams, but our attention is divided. And so we can't always give the amount of time that some of those teams need because we are divided. And we're in the middle of basketball team formation right now. And when I left work on Friday, rec staff, the three of us, Don, Brian, and myself, are coaching 6 basketball teams between the three of us. So,
One, to even give y'all more credit, I mean, we've got other departments within the city. I mean, Tabitha has done, we have employees from all across our departments giving up their time to make sure, I mean, to echo what Kendra's saying, we want a vibrant, Parks and Rec league. We need people who are going to be willing to help contribute to that. And
staff worries when I start calling before each sport.
I'm sure they do.
Because I'm twisting
I used to
arms.
be on the receiving end of that. I coached soccer one year for Kevin, and I didn't know how to play soccer, but we figured it out. We had fun. It was like the littlest group, so hopefully someone taught them what they were doing a little bit later on.
Well, I appreciate the effort that goes into this, and it's important to me to hear that it comes out of the Parks and Rec Advisory Board with support. And with all due respect, I hope you're not back here in a year asking to change it.
Right. So do we.
And then we give it a couple of years, even though to get through some growing pains if it's going to work. So, yeah, I commend you for the effort and commend you for the additional time that you put into the department and everybody at the city. Thank you for that. So, any other questions regarding this topic? If there are none, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to accept the recommendation of the Parks and Recreation Board and staff members as presented.
Kendra, was that second? Okay, it's been moved and second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Kevin. Next on our agenda is advisory board appointments. We've got a few here to do, and then at our next meeting, we should have a host more, right?
Yes. We brought the airport, CTC, and youth commission applications you had received and reviewed at the last work session. And then at your next meeting, you'll see your sales tax advisory board and your sales tax task force.
Okay. Also, those names all should look familiar to everybody. Nick, you want to read them off?
For Airport Advisory Board, Aaron Larson, CTC, Andrea Van Aken, CTC, Tyler Burt, and Youth Commission, Kayla Jackson.
All right.
Second.
I need a motion.
Oh, I thought that was the motion.
Now
Okay, I
just
move
the
to approve the
presentation.
advisory board
Presentation.
appointments
I'll
as
second.
presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded for the advisory boards. Any further comments, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next item is new business. A chance to bring new items in front of the commissioners. Anybody?
I'll start.
Okay.
Advisory board updates. We've already heard the recreation with the Wichita Heights League. Airport now, I believe, has a quorum and can start meeting again. And the Convention and Tourism Committee was postponed from last Thursday to the first Thursday in December. Questions? Saturday, I went to the Arts and Crafts Fair, Farmers Market. Too bad Saturday's weather wasn't Thursday's weather, because Thursday was gorgeous. Saturday was cold. I felt like there was a good turnout of booths there at the Farmers Market with their crafts. I felt sorry for them huddled in sweatshirts, coats, gloves, stocking caps, and blankets. You actually hated to disturb them because they were so warm and toasty. Is there any way to heat that building?
Have you seen that building?
You knew where that was going.
What we're hopeful as we move into the 2018 budget process, we'll be able to identify some funding to do an initial planning and what it's going to take to remodel that thing. There's a lot to be done there. We've actively been seeking out grant funds for it. In fact, Conventions and Visitors Bureau was just speaking to the state last week about any new potential grants on the horizon to help with farmers markets. But temporary heat in that thing is going to be really difficult to obtain and meet fire code and meet building codes.
Okay, well, I just can see all sorts of activities that can go on in the farmers market if we had a little warmth and a little cool.
Would those,
So 2016.
would those, like on patios, those propane deals, the towers, would those go with the fire code or no?
Yeah.
No, they don't like those.
Building's kind of a tinder
New
box.
Orleans likes them.
Not in a closed building.
Okay, second question. The excess sales tax committee gave money to remodel the locker rooms at McDonald's Stadium. Is that something that will be done before baseball this spring?
We are working on it right now. In fact, we've had plumbers there last week and electricians quoting that stuff with the deadline of being done by February 1st for when Butler moves in to start their spring season.
That's all I have.
Prairie Trails Advisory hasn't had a meeting since the last time I reported on that. Want to again remind everybody about the St. Nicholas Cookie Fair at Trinity Episcopal Church on December 3rd from 8 till they run out of cookies, I guess. Which I don't think they ever have, but they've come close. And of course, want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and if you're traveling, please be careful, and see you in December.
Tabitha, I got a question for you. On Wednesday, were we supposed to tell you who we wanted appointed to sales tax?
If you can just email it to me, or
Okay.
you can tell me now.
Well, Dan Davis wanted to be reappointed to the sales tax committee.
I will
We got
add
him.
You did get it? Okay. I was there. I wanted to make sure. I got a question. When we talked about the truck routes and stuff in town, there was a trucker outside that said on North Main, there at North Main Park. And when they've widened the road, they've taken that sign down. And when we talked about it at the truck route meeting, and even Kurt talked about it, can we get that sign put back up?
Yeah, Chief remembers the sign being there a number of years ago. During the widening and the bridge work, there wasn't one there. But I believe, and let me double check for you, Commissioner, but I believe Public Works has made that sign and are getting ready to put it up. I think since we added the parking lot, you have the sidewalk there, that there's gonna be some significant tree trimming to do between the parking lot and 9th Avenue. But I'll double check and let you all know in my report this week.
Okay. At Inc. last Thursday, we did board appointments, and then Mary Martha Good come in, our new state representative. She came in and introduced herself to us. And basically, that's about all we did. And I want to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving.
I just have a few. Youth Commission is getting ready to wrap up, obviously. I think we've got one more meeting and then their Christmas party. But I was going to give staff a warning and heads up that my goal for next semester in them is to at least once a month bring in a different department, and it doesn't have to be the department head, but just to kind of help educate them a little bit more on the different departments within the city. Of course, strong interest in your department chief, so I'll probably be bothering you for January. December 2nd, Main Street's gonna have their Christmas festivities downtown, so I'd encourage folks to go down, and especially if you have children. I think they've got, of course Santa will be down there, but I know District 142 will have Olaf and some characters down there. And I had a few calls, of course, about burning the compost, and the question I had from several folks who understood that we've got to do it was how many more days, and if it was supposed to go for another day or two, if there's a way to push that to next week so it wasn't burning when people were having the holiday and people coming to town for the holiday.
Okay. I will check in on that. I don't know how close they are to being done. The reason we do that is to make space as winter's approaching, and in case we have any ice storms, we need room for limbs.
Of course.
And that site was pretty packed.
Yeah.
So I'll find out and let you know, and probably put something on Channel 7 or on our city website as well.
And I think that would be, I mean, if we were to do it the next few days, if possible, I think that would be appropriate to see if we can maybe push it a week, just so folks in that vicinity, when they're having family come to town, the rest of the week, if that's possible. Just 'cause
we'll see. They may be able to spread some out. They may be almost done.
Okay.
I hadn't asked in a while, so.
As long as they're not doing it after Wednesday, I think.
Kind of one of those necessary things to enjoy a facility like that where you have the convenience to drop off your limbs or managing it's tough.
I would just hate for, and again, I totally understand we gotta do it, but the day before Thanksgiving and the day of, for people that live in that area, I mean, there's definitely homes that don't have that filtering through their house, but some do. So,
well, depending on the wind, it can be all over town.
Yeah.
So, I think that's a good idea. I like that suggestion. If there's any way to hold off during the Thanksgiving, we'd certainly appreciate that. I know our citizens would.
That's all I had, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I have some committee reports for me. The library is still in need of a board, advisory board member. We've made some calls around, so if there's anybody watching this, we'd certainly welcome anybody who's interested in being a part of the library board.
Yeah, and if we are, I might have somebody that I'll follow up with tomorrow.
Did they ever get a chance to change their time?
They're working on it. Main Street has a meeting tomorrow where they'll be going over their 2017 work plan, so we'll be sitting in on that tomorrow. And the Housing Committee still continues to work with this year's MIH grant and getting ready, gearing up for Hope 6 stuff, so still working on some grant opportunities for housing. I don't think I have any other new business to speak of. So, and then we'll move on to City Manager's report.
Mayor and Commission, we have scheduled meetings with all the other taxing entities in December to approach them about our NRP renewal. So you may be hearing about that. We'll be going and visiting with the college and the county and both of the school districts with that, along with Linda, Jolly, and myself. So if any of you are available and would like to attend, just let us know, and sometimes that would help.
Please let me know when you're going.
Okay.
To each one.
Just to update on downtown drainage. Some of you get calls on that. Guys are out still data collecting. We're working with a consulting engineer out of Wichita to model the area. And I envision here shortly we'll be bringing you a set of projects, a stepped, phased approach to some improvements and a cost associated with those. Looking at probably step 1, 2 being something that can be done out of budget and the stormwater utility fund. The bigger ones would be on a CIP type project that you'd have to plan for as we go through the 2018 budget process. And then lastly, we were notified, it was presented at the commission meeting, the Artscape, the East Central Gateway grant that we applied for. We were unsuccessful in getting any funding in that. So I think we'll start visiting with the Main Street and the Oil Museum and some other entities and talking about concepts and seeing if there's a way we can move forward on that. I'll keep you guys updated. That's all I have.
When will we look at the stormwater utility fund rates again?
Right after the first of the year, and then we'll also discuss water and sewer utility as well.
Okay.
Stormwater is one, since it's collected with property tax, we need to know before August of next summer.
Okay.
And Mayor, I do not believe we need to have an executive session unless you all have something.
You have anything? I know it's held there as a placeholder lately as we've gone through some personnel in this transition, but I am happy to scratch that from our agenda unless somebody else wants to just go in and talk.
Nope.
And make no decisions.
Does it go as an insult that you're so happy not to talk to me?
Yep.
All right. Well, we will bypass that item. Not go into executive session. The next thing on our agenda is adjournment.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adjourn.
Second.
We move to second. Any further comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. We are adjourned. Thank you.
That is.